Hello, everybody. Welcome to Choices Finding Your Joy. Oh my gosh. Another fun day on the Choices Finding Your Day or Finding Your Joy show. I tell you, I'm really excited to share with you an amazing young man. We have with us today Brian Benson. He's a writer, a speaker, a coach, a filmmaker, actor. He's a cross-country bicyclist. He's finished 50 triathlons, including 4 Ironman races. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. And he's going to share a bit about his latest book with us today, which is called Habits for Success. So first off, Brian, welcome, honey. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Paula. It's a pleasure to be here.
Oh, so happy to have you with us today.
It's good to be here.
I'd love to begin with maybe a bit of your background and what brought you to where you are today, Brian.
Sure. 10 years ago, I was running my family's business. We had a golf center up in Salem, Oregon, which was a 9-hole par 3 course, a driving range, and a store. But I kind of felt like I had stopped growing there. I was getting a little bit burned out, and I kind of felt like I had this gift inside of me that wanted to come out, although I had no idea what it was at the time, and I didn't know how to release it, but I just knew that I needed to try. And so I had a chat with my dad, and he was understanding, and I ended up leaving the business, but it took a year for me to actually leave because we decided to sell it, and we had to go through the whole process of finding a buyer and listing it and stuff. So that last year was tough, but it was a blessing in disguise because I really wanted to hit the road, but I found myself feeling out of balance. And so one day I sat down and felt like, all right, let's come up with a handful of things that I could write down to maybe help keep me in balance during this period. Mm-hmm. And it helped me. Every time I kind of started to feel a little out of balance, I'd refer to my list and I'd read it, and it helped. So much so that my intuition was screaming, expand the list and write a book. Now, I wasn't a writer or anything, but I listened to that. And at the tail end of being at the job, I self-published this book called Brian's List, 26 and a half easy-to-use ideas on how to live a fun, balanced, healthy life. So it didn't sell a whole lot initially. Number one, I didn't know how to market it. Number two, I was terrified to speak in front of people. So I realized that if I wanted to share that message, I needed to step out of my comfort zone and overcome that fear. Mm-hmm. So I began the process of doing a lot of crazy things to get comfortable in front of folks. I did a couple community college speech classes. I did Toastmasters for about a year. I hired someone to co-host an internet radio show with me who'd been doing that for a while. I created an interactive workshop, and I ended up taking an acting class. So I did a lot of different things that really kind of helped me start to solidify my foundation and overcome that fear. And all kinds of crazy, amazing, weird, synchronistic events started happening as with all these things that I did. I just kind of kept following the intuitive breadcrumbs, and it's led me to today doing all that I've been doing. It was really quite unexpected.
Yes. And isn't it amazing, Brian, how, you took those steps and put yourself out there, learning this, getting comfortable in this, and then those connections and those things do happen, don't they? We put that energy out there.
Absolutely. When I was 3, I told my mom I was put here to inspire people. And she reminded me a couple of years in on this new journey of mine. So it kind of blew me away. But looking back, for example, one of the things when I started writing self-help books, I figured that was a way that I was going to maybe hopefully inspire folks. But through some of those synchronistic events, like taking that acting class and it's not a long story, but I had a dream come to me after that class was over about a story about a street guitarist. And when I woke up, it was so powerful, I felt I better write this down. So I did. And then I randomly met a young filmmaker a few weeks after that, and we got together and made that short film. And that's kind of how I got into acting.
Oh,
And I started to realize that there was other ways that I could, put positive content out into the world. And so, that was kind of one of those crazy experiences that happened to me, but just by really paying attention and honoring that feeling I had,
yes.
it opened doors for me in another way.
Oh, I love that. I love that. And, that's so inspiring, Brian, because you showed us, that's an example of taking a step and moving into something that may have been something fearful, early on, that terrifies
Absolutely.
us.
Well, yeah, I mean, for sure. And speaking definitely, but the acting thing, when that happened, I was a closet guitarist. I'd never played in front of anybody either. And so here I was in this short film acting and playing the guitar, and it ended up doing well at film festivals, which shocked me. But it was such an empowering experience, and it really made me feel alive that I ended up moving to LA 5 years ago to kind of pursue that as well.
Oh,
So
I love it. Tell us the name of the film, Brian.
it's called Guitar Man, and you can find it on my website. It's on YouTube, but it's on my website too. Yeah.
Oh, that is so fun. And okay, so your latest book, what prompted that, and what can we expect to learn in that?
Well, yeah. It's called Habits for Success: Inspired Ideas to Help You Soar. Basically, it's just a culmination of the last 10 years of my life, of almost kind of being in the observer's role or perch watching and kind of documenting my own life, self-growth process. So, everything that I write about are definitely habits that I became aware of and that helped me solidify my foundation and get to where I'm at. And so I'm really, really proud of how the book turned out. I tried to write it in a thought-provoking way, in an entertaining way, and in an inspiring way. And I feel like I accomplished that. And so it's been fun seeing it begin to get legs out in the world. It's just been out a few months.
Yes, yes. That
Yeah.
is so exciting. I
Thank you.
love it. And I love using the word habits, because really we create habits, and that makes a difference in the direction we go, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It really all boils down to self-awareness. And the more that we can learn about ourselves and what maybe works for us and doesn't work for us, then we can begin to really get a little bit more disciplined and set ourselves up for success. It's kind of interesting looking back. I don't think it's any accident that my first book was on a whole bunch of different ways to stay in balance, because it's kind of been my rock. And having that self-awareness at that point in my life, as I was just beginning to kind of head out into the unknown, it really helped me just focus on the things and kind of get a rhythm going with what really worked for me. And it's definitely helped me move forward a lot quicker.
Mm-hmm. I
Yeah.
love it. I love it. And the fact that you do your cross country bicycling in these triathlons. Is there any stories or anything you want to share about all of that? It's fascinating.
Well, I've got a lot of stories, and I'm really blessed. I feel like I've lived a lot of lifetimes, and the triathlons were from like maybe 1987 to about 2006, and the bike ride was kind of in the middle of that. But I think ultimately, just the there's nothing better than just kind of like doing something that's a little bit out of your comfort zone. I mean, now it's different maybe if you're trying to learn how to speak in front of people or to maybe tackle a triathlon, but they're similar and they're different. I mean, for me, it's just being out there on the, during a race,꯫ I felt totally alive and really kind of in the moment and present. And so the bike trip was like 9 weeks of being totally in the moment and being present, not worrying about the past or the future, just really living in the present moment, which is something that I think we all try to kind of get to. So, if anybody has any ideas about maybe just trying anything this is different, just get curious and just step out a little bit and see what happens. Because, you're gonna, number one, having a new experience and see something with new eyes, which will totally wake you up and raise your vibration. But number two, you never know what it's going to lead to.
Yes, yes. Oh, and isn't that so true? That is a powerful statement, Brian. We just, when we open our eyes and say yes to, what may manifest, oh my gosh, the things that might open up.
Yeah, I mean, my mantra anymore is just I happily expect the unexpected, because really that's everything that I'm doing was unexpected. And I apologize for a little spam phone call there that I had to turn off.
That's okay. Oh,
But
and that's
yeah,
so true, and I'm right there with you. So many things I know on my personal path that have come my way. I'd never even dreamed them possible. And that is just so fun.
yeah, it's something to kind of tie in with that. Originally, there's some goals that I set, but I kind of learned early on that instead of goals, I might hold. So I have some short-term goals, but like I hold intentions, like, and there's so many other unique, unexpected ways that can get us to that intention. And so I'm open to whatever God, spirit, the universe, whatever wants to throw my way, and benefits me and others in getting there.
That's so huge, Brian, because in a way we can be so focused on these goals, we can almost block other things from coming in. That being open really is huge and powerful, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And sometimes I think when we hold a goal, we feel like maybe there's only one or two ways to attain it. And so I don't know, I've kind of just turned it around a little bit and just, yeah.
So what has it been like becoming a speaker and someone out there, talking to others and sharing that message? Are you finding that exciting, fulfilling? What's that been like for you?
Yeah, it's been great. I mean, I'm still kind of at the early end of it. I did a TEDx a few years ago. It was very exciting. And I've done some workshops, and I've just started doing some book talks for this. I was up in San Francisco last week, and that was a lot of fun. So I really do enjoy connecting with people. And, there's a little bit of fear there still, but I'm diving into it. And, I love it. And the more comfortable I get, the more I'm going to enjoy it. And so, yeah.
Do you see another book in your future?
That's a great question. Yes, I'm not exactly sure. I have a couple of ideas, and one of them might be a few years down the road. I'm not quite sure maybe what the next one's going to be, but I'll know when I know.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that is so exciting. Yeah. That is so exciting. I mean, you really show us how someone can, just open up, choose, I want a different path, and just let things unfold. And oh my gosh, all the things that have happened. Was it a tough step to say, okay, I'm going to move to LA, or was it can't wait to be there? I mean, sometimes it can be a challenge.
Sure.
To relocate.
Well, it's kind of funny. A long time ago, I used to say, I'd never moved to LA, but after, now I've learned to never say never. But after I left the family business, I moved to Reno, Nevada. My son lived in the Tahoe area nearby, and so that was nice. So I was really able to connect with him, but I also started to reinvent myself. So 4 years after that is when I ended up moving to LA. I don't think it was tough. I knew it was time to come, and I don't know where I will end up, but right now I feel like it's where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah.
I made a lot of great connections, and it's enabled me to do some other projects, which have been a lot of fun and helped me kind of put more positive content out into the world. Yeah. So I just knew it was the next step, and I just did it.
And LA is so fun. I've been there a few times. I had a friend who was connected to a movie that was up for an award one year, and she invited me down for the Oscars party and all that. Wow. And oh my gosh, LA is just on fire during the Oscars, isn't it? Oh my gosh, I got to see the red carpet. It was amazing.
Yeah, that's coming up, I think, next weekend, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, it's definitely, there's a different kind of buzz this time of year for sure.
Yeah. I was just amazed. It was the town, everything was about the Oscars and really, really fun.
We just need to see the sun again. We need the rain, but we've.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So do you see doing more with your acting career, or just kind of open to that?
I did take a half a step back last year because it was so busy with writing this book and doing a bunch of other stuff along these lines. I do have a small part in a TV show that'll be starting in a few months, and so that's exciting. And who knows what that will lead to? I'm open to that. I think acting for me, it's definitely been a part of my education. I mean, when I moved here, I started studying quite a bit, and I think it, among other things, it really helped me learn how to feel more in public, which is wonderful, and be more vulnerable for all that I'm doing. It also taught me how to be in front of a camera. And so, all good skills to have with everything that's going forward. So I'm not quite sure where it's going to lead, but yeah.
What's the name of the TV show, Brian?
It's called Sangre Negra, meaning black blood in Spanish. And it's a cable show, and it's going to be on the El Rey channel. And it's a very diverse cast. It's kind of a cross between The Sopranos and Dallas. And Eric Estrada's in it, who was on Chips a long time ago, and Eric Roberts and some other people that you probably recognize. And it's got a little bit of a telenovela feel to it. And yeah.
Oh my gosh, you have such a spectrum of talents and everything, and your guitar, and that is so fascinating. I love it.
Thank you.
You just have a lot of experiences you can share with everyone, and in your books. I love that.
Thank you. Yeah, I think it's really important to have stories that emphasize the importance of a particular habit. And so I tried to include stories in all the chapters, and it's a great way to teach.
Yeah, stories is just great, and that helps us look at situations and things and see what others have gone through. And then, yeah. So with your book, for everyone out there who's going, oh my gosh, success, that's my goal. My goal is success. What would you share with them right now? Maybe just a few minutes of, take this with you today and think about this, or make this move, or make this step.
Yeah.
Say.
Well, I think ultimately, we're spiritual beings having human experience, and we're here to learn and grow. And I think the ultimate thing that we're kind of maybe here to do is really to learn how to love and accept ourselves, because that's where happiness starts. And so everything else is just kind of, I think, something to help us get to that place. We have to have a solid foundation to really begin to learn how to become more self-aware, and so that we can catch ourselves when we're doing those things that trigger us, or that send us down the wrong path temporarily or whatever. So everything that I do, I think I suppose is just trying to kind of funnel everybody down to that final place of just really learning how to love and accept yourself for who you are and what you have to work with. Because once we can do that, I think everything else falls into place, and we release so much weight that we carry trying to be someone else that we're not.
Yeah, and that's so true. And there's so many times, Brian, that we try to be something that someone else wants us to be as well.
Yeah, I can kind of use that example for me in the business. Now, my dad, I'm grateful for the opportunity that I had. It's not like he pressured me to do it, and, but that's an example of me doing something that wasn't really in my heart. And, and I learned a lot from it, and I left when it was time. But definitely.
Because it really is important, really, to follow your passion, isn't it?
Yeah.
And sometimes we may not even know what that is.
I didn't. And I just I didn't. I just kind of really got in touch with my intuition and started to learn how to trust it, and just really kind of let it guide my life. And I think that's another thing I would tell people, just really begin to honor that and do those things that allow you to really let it come through. That means, kind of quieting your life down a little bit, try to find those things to help you stay in balance, and so that it comes through in a stronger form.
Yeah.
But, I really think that that's kind of the key for everybody, is just to really honor and trust that intuition, and just let it guide you.
So we're speaking about being in balance.
Mhm.
What does that mean to you, Brian?
Well, I think it's helped me learn, you know, it's all about self-awareness. I now know what is going to throw me out of balance, so I'm able to avoid it, whether it's bad, crappy food that doesn't make me feel good and gives me no energy. I mean, that's something that can throw us all out of balance that you don't really think about. It's something as simple as getting enough sleep, just to enable the next day to start in a way that, can work for us. It's exercise, you don't have to do an Ironman. You can just go for a walk. And that's a great way to let your intuition come through as well.
Yeah.
Get out in nature. There's so many things that we can do. Meditation. And there's different ways that you don't have to just sit in a cross-legged position. You can go for a walk. All those years of training and racing for me, those long bike rides I went on, that was a form of meditation.
Yeah.
Listening to certain kind of music can kind of put you into that feeling as well. Drinking enough water. I know that's kind of goofy, but staying hydrated really helps you stay in flow. And think clearer. So for me, balance is just really kind of my blueprint for getting a solid foundation to step off of.
Yeah. And isn't it amazing what a walk and maybe looking at the scenery around us does for us, and listening to our favorite music. And you're right that the nutrition and all of that is so important. I'm right there with you. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then when we're in balance, I think, that affects us physically, emotionally, and it helps us really to be at a healthier, higher vibration also, where, more can manifest.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I think it's fascinating, Brian, and really beautiful that we each have the control of the balance we give ourselves and the love we give ourselves. We really do have the control, right? No one else. We have it.
It's about unwinding some of those, habits that get in the way, watching too much TV, spending too much time on the internet, getting caught up in social media. I mean, a little bit's fine, but social media is a tough thing because it's like we're seeing everybody's best version and we can compare it with our worst. And that can kind of set us aside for a little bit. You know what I mean?
You're right. All of that, all of those things need to be in balance. They get too extended and out of balance, they're going to affect everything else.
Yeah.
That is so true. So when you say the word success, what does that mean to you, Brian?
I think it's kind of changed along my journey. I think typically we're taught to think that success means, making a lot of money and being, having a really good job and all that kind of stuff. And that's definitely a form of success. For me, I think it means a few things. One, I'd love to be able to do what I'm doing on a bigger scale. So, I just kind of keep taking those little steps forward and hopefully point it in that direction. So that would mean success for me. But I mean, gosh, just looking at all the things that I've done and overcome, and just to step out of my comfort zone, it's always been kind of hard for me to celebrate my wins. So I need to pat myself on the back for that, and just, realize that, that was, you did a lot, and that was, well done. But I think success also means, just like what we talked about a little bit ago, really just learning how to love and accept yourself. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's so many different ways that we can, define success. Being a good parent, it could be just being the best at your job.
And, when you say success, we can have on a daily basis. It doesn't have to be based on when we achieve what we want and what we're striving for. We can have that every day with those simple things that you just talked about, every day.
I think that's a great point, because I think we're kind of taught to feel like there's a finish line to reach it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah.
Mm.
That's it. That's a great way to put it, because we are taught. Yeah. A finish line. Yeah. And
And
so
that,
every day
and I will be worthy when I reach it, right?
I'll be
Huh?
happy, I'll be successful when I
Right.
do. No, you can be successful right now as you go there.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that, Brian. I love that. What a great thought for us to take with us today. We're successful today.
Absolutely. We woke up, we're having a good conversation, and hopefully we're sharing some stuff that other people will find value in. I mean,
Yes.
what more could you ask for?
Yes. Could you do me a favor, Brian, and share your website and tell
Yeah.
the audience where they can get a copy of your books and all that good stuff?
Yeah, thanks for asking. The website's gbrianbenson.com, and the book can be found on Amazon via the link habitsforsuccessbook.com.
I love it. I love it.
There's lots of fun stuff on the website. There's the short films and some talks and some other videos, and yeah.
Yeah, I've watched some of your videos. They were just fantastic.
Thank you.
Just fantastic. I just highly recommend them to everyone, and Brian's book. Oh my gosh. So as we get ready to say goodbye, what last words do you want to say to everyone, Brian?
I'm just going to kind of go back to what I just talked about a little bit ago, just that, let everybody know that they're enough, just with, who they are and what they have to work with. And just my hope is that they can see that and really let that sink in and let some of the weight, fall away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that. And, I really want to give you a heartfelt thank you for the difference you're making in other people's lives.
Thank you. And to you too.
What you're doing. Thank you. Thank you. We're a team, aren't we?
Yep.
Positive energy in the world. And oh
Yep.
my gosh, how wonderful is that? Oh, well, Brian, thank you so much. I'm just so grateful to have had you on the show.
It's my pleasure. Thank you, Paula. And anytime. And I'm glad we made a connection.
Yep. And next time I come down to LA, I'd love to meet you.
Absolutely. Coffee it is. Coffee lunch for sure.
That would be fun. Love, hugs, and blessings, everyone. Brian, love, hugs, and blessings.
Thank you. Thank you,
See you
Paula.
next week, everyone.